Literary Republic. What was his life as a writer?
He had quite a, he first had this sort of, you might almost call it like a, a correspondent adventure. I mean, it's like if someone were to go off today to Afghanistan or something. He traveled through the American South at a time with real tensions, and he saw slavery firsthand, saw plantations firsthand, report on it. So that was a real adventure. Then, on the strength of that job, on the strength of the reporting he did for the New York Times, he landed a job that had him rubbing shoulders. He landed a job with a magazine called Putnam's. He's an editor of that magazine. That had him rubbing shoulders with the likes of William Makepeace Thackeray, Emerson, Thoreau, Longfellow. Olmsted actually copy-edited a couple of short stories by Herman Melville. So that's, and Olmsted himself described that as being in the Literary Republic. He was working as an editor for this very esteemed literary magazine that's long dead called Putnam's, and editing some of the great literary talent of the day.
Now, did you get to look at any of this on microfilm, or?
Yeah, I actually looked at old issues of Putnam's. They were fun to look at, and
you can't find them on eBay.
Yeah, you might. It's funny, if any exist in physical form, they probably would try to sell on eBay because they probably fetch a decent price. Almost every issue is going to have a poem by Longfellow or an essay by Thoreau or something, and it was very pleasurable to look through these and sort of see see some of these works that Olmsted had worked on. One of the things I really enjoyed was you could actually find the Herman Melville stories that he'd edited, and then there's a really scholarly biography of Melville which describes exactly what Olmsted did to edit these short stories. So you can look at the final short story in Putnam's, and then you can go to the scholarly work about Melville and say, okay, Olmsted did this, that, and the other, so in order to change the story. So
that should be taught in colleges in a writing course.
Yeah, it was funny that the main thing that Olmsted did, you'll get a kick out of this, is he had an American dictionary, an American English dictionary, as opposed to an English dictionary, and so Melville was still spelling words like mold. He was spelling them M-O-U-L-D. And luster, he's spelling L-U-S-T-R-E. And so mostly Olmsted's copy editing consists of going through Melville's story and changing the English Spellings to American English spellings.
I like to spell luster, L-U-S-T-R-E, but
that's a nice spelling, right? It looks nice. It looks good.
It reads better because luster just seems so crass.
Yeah,
for a word like luster.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. That's maybe.
So you give me permission to go back to the Old English when I use the word.
I think it'd be a good idea to go back to that Melville story, exhume it, re-edit it.
Well, something along more modern lines. Barry Glovsky is one of the first guests I ever had on my show in 1979, and Barry's on my Facebook. He found me, so he's going to come back to the show in a couple of weeks.
Excellent.
Barry had Fusion magazine back in the 70s. I don't know if you ever saw it anywhere.
No.
There was Crawdaddy. Remember Crawdaddy?
I remember Crawdaddy, yep.
So Fusion was like a competitor of Crawdaddy. And when Janis Joplin and Brian Jones and Jimi Hendrix died, he put out a book, No One Waved Goodbye, Fusion Press. I have 2 different copies of it. Lou Reed essayed, this incredible essay by Lou Reed. And I might have said to Lou during the interview, more essays from Lou Reed. I mean, the guy is a great writer that we don't see enough of, because, well, in Barry Glovsky's Fusion, much like Olmsted, he has rare Lou Reed poetry. So I have copies of this because I'm going to bring you some I know you don't have. And it's like, whoa. These magazines, people don't realize there's like these great articles that just kind of they were saved, if you will. Mm-hmm. They might be lost, but they're not really lost. They can be found. Mm-hmm. Be it Herman Melville or Lou Reed.
That's good. So he published some Lou Reed poetry. That's sort of
lots of it. Because Lou and the Velvet Underground were living here in Boston. They were like the house band at the Tea Party. People don't realize that. They think of them as a New York.
Yep. As do I, unfortunately. So that's interesting. So yeah.
They spent many years, a good portion of their time in Boston playing the Boston Tea Party. So much so that the big top 40 station, WRKO, had this party. They played it. It wasn't the music for a top 40 station, but in the gatefold of the compilation album put out by RKO, there's the Velvet Underground and Lou Reed. I mean, it's just kind of odd.
That's interesting because he's always described as a New York, sort of a New York street poet and all that stuff. So yeah.